welcome to the NDTV Dialogues, a conversation of ideas where we go beyond politics to try and discuss what actually is happening in many of the controversies around us. This week, the sharp focus has been on atrocities against Dalits, a reminder of how in 21st century India, we still treat people as lesser human beings based on their caste, color, religion. How relevant is caste in today's India and how relevant should it be? Joining me for more on this is former Lok Sabha Speaker Meira Kumar. I'm also joined by BJP MP Udit Raj. Also with me, Narendra Jadhav, well-known economist. Also, Professor Vimal Thorat, convener of the National Campaign on Dalit Human Rights. Thank you all very much for joining me. Meira Kumar ji, I made that point that in 21st century India, why is caste still so relevant in India today and why are people still discriminated against? As a politician, and this is going beyond party lines, do you feel that the continued focus on caste has actually been something which has set the people of India behind? Because now we've seen parties which are catering to certain identities. We now look at subcastes, we go from OBCs to EBCs to MBCs, that the politics of today…
And Gotra.
Or Gotra. That the politics of today has become all about caste.
Yes, you're very right. And caste system is the bane of Indian society. Not today, for thousands of years. You know, this country has everything.
So why do politicians perpetuate it then?
You see, yes, it is a good trend to keep the politicians in check, to blame them for everything. Whatever goes wrong in the society, the politician has to be blamed. But do you think it is only because of the politician? Are the marriages fixed because of the dictates of the politician? You see, in reputed national dailies on Sundays, when you open the paper, you see the matrimonial columns, all caste based. Is it on the dictates of the politician?
So, you're saying politics reflects society?
I would say it is not set aside, but there is a certain trend. There is a certain trend in the society. The politics is also affected by it.
Is it more or less? I'll get the non-politicians in, but let me get in Dr. Udit Raj first. Because Dr. Udit Raj, you came into politics in a way really for justice for the weaker classes, justice for Dalits. But even you found yourself having to eventually join a national party. Why is that? Do you think that often identity politics or parties which are focusing only on a certain caste or a class or a religion is not perhaps the right way to go, or what did you feel?
Democratic system in this country has been adopted on European model. There the task of or objective of a state is to take care of education, health and basic amenities. In those societies there is no caste system, but when we adopted the democratic system, rather we imported democracy from there. We would have evolved it in our own context, in our own social paradigm. What happened? Politics has never touched the social issue in this country. I don't know left to home. Nor education system addresses it, not NGOs, not social, not those who are human rights activists. I don't know to whom it has been left, to aliens or to other nations guys, that they should address the political scenario here. See, I am Ambedkarite. It's not that I am Ambedkarite and I am here flattering or of course worshipping my icon, that Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar. He was the only one who preached for annihilation of the caste, nobody else, whether it be it Gandhi ji, Nehru ji, Patel ji, anybody.
And 125 years later, the UN marked its anniversary, but we still…
He only said that annihilation of caste is the only solution. No political party.
No, I accept that, which is why I want to make that point. And
let me come.
No, Udit Raj, because I just want to take that point you said.
Let me come on. What happened is that, when the political parties are not addressing, have never addressed this caste issue. They have exploited the caste. What is a very shortcut and very easy to get the vote by emotionalizing the caste. That's how it has become a rather easy, very easy to come into the power. This is what I have to say.
I wanted to bring in Narendra Jadhav in that because you've of course worked closely in a sense with the Manmohan Singh government and you've now been nominated by the BJP government into the Rajya Sabha. When you've seen what's happened this week and really looked at it from a perspective perhaps beyond politics completely, why do you think caste is so relevant in today's India? Why do you think it's so relevant politically? Why do you think it's so relevant socially? Why is it that despite the progress in education and technology, some of our attitudes are so regressive?
No, caste has always been relevant in our country. So,
Not today.
You
Yes,
know, the caste system has undergone a lot of changes. I feel that earlier the caste-based discrimination was very blatant, very blunt. You know, people had to wear a earthen pot around their neck to prevent their spit from polluting ground, and they had to tie a broom around their waist so as to prevent the land from being polluted by the shadow of Dalits. So that kind of blunt form of caste system has gone. However, I believe that the caste system has taken now a sophisticated turn, and in the sophisticated form now it resides in the mindset of people, and I believe that in this form it is even more pernicious than the blunt form in which it existed earlier.
In fact, interestingly, because as I said, you work so closely with Manmohan Singh, because there was a belief that economic reforms, and Dr. Udit Raj made that point that, you know, that we've addressed other issues, but we haven't addressed the social issues.
Yeah.
That economic reforms would have changed this, it would have brought an equal playing field, and that's actually the way for, say, Dalits and OBCs, etc., to
That's right.
come out of their
That's right.
backwardness.
Right.
That's not happened.
No, that has not happened at all. You know, when you talked about Dr. Manmohan Singh, when Dr. Manmohan Singh took over, in his one of the early speeches, he had said that in 10 years, the gap that exists in all socio-economic indicators between the general population on one hand and scheduled caste and scheduled tribes on other would be cut down and reduced and eliminated. Mrs. Indira Gandhi in 1979 introduced a very good plan that was called Scheduled Caste Sub-Plan. The idea was that in every budget, you know, there must be earmarking of funds for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in proportion of their share in the total population. Their share in the total population is 16.8%. All governments throughout, whether it was Congress government or whether the BJP government today, consistently the earmarking proportion of funds has gone down and it has never crossed 9%, while in contrast to the population share of 16.8%. So faithful implementation has not been done because those who are in the authority, they take their caste biases along with them, and that comes in the way of adequate and proper and effective implementation. I can give several examples. Very large amount of funds in all states have been diverted from scheduled caste sub-plan for other purposes. In this very state of Delhi, ma'am, let me say this, that 700 plus crores were diverted for Commonwealth Games. So this is happening.
Utilized
But
for Asian Games.
I want to
See,
bring
what
Professor
happened-
Thorat. Let Professor Thorat speak on this because, again, as I said, the non-political voice on the panel. But Professor Thorat, when we look at addressing this as an issue of funds, that of course is an issue, and I know that in India often the answer is you throw money at the problem and we hope that it will go away, that will resolve it. It may of course be a crucial part of it. But when we look at the social issues, when you look at the fact that young students who get into the best universities feel that they can't cope with the pressure, they may get into IITs, they may get into IIMs, we saw what happened with the Rohit Vemula case. What is the current clashes that we are seeing amongst the younger generation, the future of India, which we are seeing perhaps borne out as well in the beatings of these young men, in the attacks, the derogatory language being used against a Dalit woman?
You just quote Rohit Vemula's case. You see, a very bright student who got the admission in HCU, Hyderabad Central University, and got the fellowship also. But the entire institution become very, very discriminatory against him. And it is finally he has to commit suicide because his fellowship was cut down since last 10
Was
months
stopped,
before
stopped.
his suicide. And then he and four other Dalit students were banned the entry. They were just banned the entry in the public places on the campus. What kind of attitude shows the institute towards the Dalit student?
But suppose he had not been Dalit. For instance, suppose it was a ABVP versus someone. Do you think it would have been the same? Suppose it was, say, ABVP versus NSUI, for argument's sake. Do you think the action would have been the same, or do you think there was discrimination because of caste?
You see the entire incidences
See, there is a difference between
happened
caste
during this
discrimination
thing.
and other form of
The
discrimination.
entire institute and the political leaders, they really form a team against the one student. The very small students, they are the students, very vulnerable students.
So you see this as part of a pattern?
It's a pattern. You can see the pattern, and we have studied that. And my organization and I was involved in that program, the facts finding committee. We visited the university several times. We talked to the students, the teachers, the SC/ST Teachers Association. Every evidence says that it was an institutional murder of Rohit Vemula. And it has been proved. It has been proved. Sonia, just give me one second. It has been proved because you can see all the documents. What Manusmriti Irani shows in the Smriti Irani
I hope that was a
shows in the
because I don't think you can call her Manusmriti Irani at all.
Shows I'm please pardon me. I'm sorry to say that. She in front of the parliament, what she shows the papers, those are not the real paper. We have the entire set of paper.
No, I think that's a valid.
If the media wants,
we can provide. I think Rohit's death itself can be larger political base.
But
I just want but Dr. Udit Raj,
of discrimination.
I wanted to bring in Meira Kumar, who is not today. I have to be the speaker here at this point, but I wanted to bring in Meira Kumar on this specific point. When we talk today of moving beyond caste, can we do that? Because even an educated woman like yourself, when you took over as speaker, you never like to be described as a Dalit politician, but you made the point that you are the speaker of the house, but are a Dalit. In that sense, do we have to wear being a Dalit or being of a certain caste as a badge in today's India? Do you think it is important, or do you think actually by doing that we go backwards? Why do you have to mention a Dalit politician? In Bihar, they say, oh, we should project Meira Kumar ji because she's a Dalit face. Today in Uttar Pradesh, the Congress says they want a Brahmin as a chief ministerial candidate. Isn't that caste politics?
That's what I said right in the beginning, that caste has been there since time immemorial and is continuing. And let me just quote, I had once asked my father, please listen. I asked my father, you said nobody has done any work.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not individual. I indicted any individual.
Please,
I said that the polity
you cannot forget. Let me talk. But you see, I asked him once, I said, everything changes. This country is going ahead. We are getting educated. Why isn't the caste system changing? Why haven't we evolved? And he said there are two reasons. He said if your basic needs are met, you got food, you got a house, you got clothes, your basic needs are met, then you have two desires, to be loved and to be respected. Now, love and affection you can get if you have a family or your friend circle. It's not very difficult to get affection and love. But to get respect is very difficult. You have to make sacrifices, you have to have merit, you have to work hard, you have to have credibility. There's so much involved in getting respect. Now, if you have a system where the moment you are born, you get respect from hundreds and thousands of people, they just look up to you, look up the child because he is born in a certain family, a certain caste, he immediately, everyone comes and touches the feet, or then you get, why should those who are benefiting from that system would want to dismantle that system? That is the reason why it is continuing.
But why do politicians like yourself also say Dalit politician?
I'm saying you're bringing in politicians. I'm very glad you're bringing in politicians, because politicians should also, if they're leading, they should also show that they are leading. Now, I just wanted to say, everybody said that politics has not done anything to change the caste system. Well, I would say,
I'm saying it's perpetuating it by defining politicians by their caste.
I would say you're talking of, say, last 3 decades or 4 decades, but at the time of the freedom movement, when we were having the freedom movement, you see, things changed.
No,
all those who were very obscurantist, very casteist, they also were ready to give it up. But let me tell you that there was a phase in this country when, I wouldn't say caste system was eradicated, but certainly those who were involved in the freedom movement and were not totally away from politics of this country were responsible for, if I'm sitting here today, or he's sitting here today, or she is a professor, and we are all there and we're discussing. Some work has been done earlier, so that some way has been paved for us to progress. We are not happy with the amount of work that has been done. It is left to us to do it. But to say that nothing at all has been done, I don't think so.
No, I didn't say that. I asked, why do you describe yourself as a Dalit politician in Bihar?
Yes.
That's what I asked you, ma'am. So maybe just that specific question.
Yes, tell me.
Why do you describe yourself as a Dalit politician in Bihar?
I never describe myself as a Dalit politician. It is others.
In Bihar,
you also
when you
call
have
me.
gone to campaigns,
You have also called me today for this.
But I would never dare to introduce you as that.
For show, you called him, you called me, you called her, because there is a Dalit issue, and Dalits must express their views. I would like you to call non-Dalits. I would like you to call general caste people who are today deeply attached to the caste system, and I would like you to call them and find out why they are attached to it.